Human history is full of gaps. But some gaps are louder than others. The year 1812 is described as a turning point. A moment when the old world ended and the modern one began. In America, it is called the War of 1812. In Russia, the Patriotic War. In Europe, the Battle of the Nations. Different names. Different stories. Yet all agree that these events changed the world forever. If this war was truly so important, one simple question must be asked. Why did the world wait so long to remember it? Human societies do not delay memory. Victories are honored while emotions are fresh. While witnesses are alive. While pain and pride are still real. After the Second World War, memorials appeared almost immediately. Graves were marked. Names were carved. Monuments rose within years, not centuries. This is the natural order of memory. But after the events of 1812, something unusual happened. Silence. No wave of monumental construction. No urgent need to immortalize the victory. No grand structures speaking to the people. Years passed. Decades passed. An entire century passed. And then, suddenly, everything changed. Between 1912 and 1913, monuments began to appear everywhere. In Russia. In Germany. Across Europe. Triumphal arches were restored. Cathedrals were completed. Colossal memorials were unveiled. All at once. All synchronized. All exactly 100 years later. By that time, no witnesses remained. No soldiers. No children of soldiers. No living memory at all. Only documents. And stone. Stone does not argue. Stone does not remember. Stone only repeats what is written on it. Take the Triumphal Arch in Moscow. Today it is presented as a clear symbol of victory over Napoleon. But 19th century documents describe it simply as triumphal gates, without a clear connection to any specific war. Early images show missing or unreadable inscriptions. The meaning we accept today appears only after the restoration of 1912. New plaques. New words. A new story. It is as if the monument learned its purpose 100 years late. Germany tells a similar story. The Hall of Liberation stands massive and silent. Officially dedicated to the wars of 1813. Yet nowhere on its walls are dates. No enemies. No battles. No Napoleon. Only abstract phrases. Liberation. Struggle. Victory. Victory over whom? And when? The stone does not say. It feels less like a memorial to a specific war, and more like a structure waiting for a meaning. In Moscow, the Cathedral of Christ the Savior is presented as the main monument to the victory of 1812. Yet it was consecrated more than 70 years after the war. Documents show that even in the early 20th century, construction was still unfinished. The symbol of victory reached completion only in time for the centennial celebration. Not after the war. After memory was gone. Some monuments reveal even stranger contradictions. In Smolensk, a sculpture shows eagles defending their nest from a climbing warrior. Officially, it represents the defeat of the enemy. But ancient European myths tell a different story. In those legends, stealing an eagle's egg was a test of ultimate bravery. Through this lens, the monument glorifies courage, not defeat. Meaning depends on who is telling the story. the most unsettling structure rises in Leipzig. Opened in 1913. 91 meters of dark stone. It looks less like a memorial and more like a fortress from another age or another world. Inside, massive figures stare without emotion. Humans appear small, insignificant. This is not how 19th century Europe usually remembered wars. It feels ancient and strangely modern at the same time. When all these details are placed together, a pattern emerges. The year 1912 was not just a celebration. It was a beginning. A moment when memory was assembled. When silent structures were given names. When meaning was assigned to stone. Time is the greatest ally of rewriting history. After a century, no one remains to object. Perhaps the true events of the early 19th century were far more complex, or far more catastrophic, than the story we inherited. We live inside a version of history shaped 100 years ago, trusting monuments that speak softly, and archives that never raise their voice. The stones remain. But whether they remember the truth, or only what they were told to remember, is a question still unanswered.